One major way that taxpayers literally hand the government money is by paying late penalties and interest. Welcome back, everyone. Again, this is Andrea here talking about different tax strategies to save you money. Today's video, we're going to be focusing on the different tax deadlines. What I find, or what I found, is a lot of taxpayers literally hand the government money simply by not filing on time and then paying a lot of money in interest. Tax season is stressful enough, not to mention scrambling, getting your receipts in on time, your slips in on time. So a lot of taxpayers often miss the filing deadline. So I'm just going to reiterate the deadlines for you, the different deadlines that are available, who they apply to, when they are, just so you can avoid filing your tax late, because of course, late filing leads to huge penalties and of course, interest. Let's be honest, no one likes giving the CRA more money than they're supposed to get. Wouldn't you agree? I'm going to break down the most common deadlines that you need to be aware of. So please get your calendars ready. Mark these dates in your calendar so you do not forget them. If you're filing personal taxes, so again, every individual in Canada has to file their personal taxes, whether you are an employee, a senior, a student. The main deadline is April the 30th. So this is when the T1 General, again, for your personal income taxes, needs to be filed and paid if you owe the government money. If April 30th falls on a weekend or a holiday, you get the following business day as the deadline and to pay as well. Deadline number 2 is for self-employed individuals. Not only for the self-employed individuals, but their spouses and common law partners as well. So if you run your own business, you actually get June the 15th as your filing deadline. However, if you owe the government money, your payment deadline is still April the 30th. It doesn't make sense, does it? That's the government for you. No, it doesn't make sense, but that's how it is. So please remember, your filing deadline, if you are self-employed, whether it's yourself or even your spouse or common law partner, you have an extension up to June the 15th of that year. Again, if you owe the government money, CRA, your payment deadline is April the 30th. Think of it as CRA saying, you have a little bit more time to file your taxes, but we want our money now. Our third deadline is for corporations. Anyone that owns a corporation, directors, so forth. Your filing deadline, it's not a specific date. It all depends on your fiscal year end. So again, if you have a corporation, you should know what your fiscal year end date is. If not, later on in the future, I will be doing a more detailed video in regards to corporations. So generally, you need to file your corporate income taxes within 6 months of your fiscal year end. For example, if your fiscal year end is December 31st of a year, you have up until June the 30th to file your corporate income taxes. Again, with CRA, it's not that straightforward. If the corporation, again, owes taxes, you need to pay within 3 months of your fiscal year end. So again, your fiscal year end is December the 31st. You have anywhere between that date, January 1st to June the 31st of the following year, to file your corporate taxes. But if you have an amount owing, that should be paid by March the 31st. Our fourth deadline is for GST, HST registrants. So if you have a GST, HST account, you really have to file or report, based on your reporting frequency. So if you are a quarterly filer or monthly filer, you have to file your report the following month, by the end of the following month. If you are an annual filer, you have 3 months to report your GST HST. So let's just quickly recap. Personal taxes, T1 general, your reporting deadline is April the 30th. This goes along with your payment as well. For self-employed individuals, which includes their spouses or common law partners, your filing deadline is June the 15th, but again, your payment deadline is April the 30th. For corporate individuals, corporations, again, it all depends on your fiscal year end date. So if your fiscal year end is December 31st, you have up until 6 months to file your tax return. But again, you have the 3 months to actually pay any amount owing. And lastly, GST HST registrant. Again, it all depends on your reporting frequency. If you are an annual reporter, you have 3 months after your period end date. And if you are a monthly or quarterly filer, you have the following month after your reporting period to file your GST HST report. So the reason why I say taxpayers are literally handing money to the government in this sense, a lot of people forget to file on these deadlines. So the government imposes late penalty fees for filing late. I didn't say interest. This is actually filing penalty fees. So just for filing your return late, the government imposes a 5% penalty right off the bat. So May the 1st, if you did not file your income taxes at that date, they will charge you a 5% of any amount owing on that day. In addition to the 5% late penalty fee, they will also charge you a 1% each month that your report is continually late. So if you take a few months to actually file it, they'll again charge you the 5%, the initial 5%, and 1% for each month that your return is late. There is a maximum of 12 months on that 1%. So let me give you an example. Say you owe $2,000 on your return and you file the return 3 months after the deadline. Initially, CRA will charge you 5% of that $2,000, which is $100. So that's one fee that automatically they will charge you. And then on top of that, they will actually charge you a monthly penalty of 1% times the 3 months on that same $2,000. That comes up to $60. So your total penalty for not filing on time is $160. If, for instance, you are a repeat late filer, the government actually charges you a repeat late filer penalty. So if you filed late, say this year, and then within the next 3 years, you file late again, so the second year that you are late in filing, instead of 5%, the CRA will charge you 10%, the initial late penalty fee, and then 2% for every month that you are late after that. So they pretty much double their penalty. Now, I don't know if you noticed that I was putting emphasis on the fact that we were talking about late filing penalty fees. And I did mention that I wasn't talking about interest. That's because interest is actually a totally separate charge that CRA imposes. So the interest that CRA charges would be on the actual amount that was owed and not paid. So again, we've been talking about the late penalty fees just for filing your return late. That's the charges for that. Interest now is what goes on to the amount that was owed. So CRA charges a compound daily interest fee on any balance that you have owing. They charge it or apply it quarterly, but it usually comes up to around 6 to 7% annually. Lastly, for GST, HST registrants, CRA imposes a late penalty fee of 1% on the amount that's owing, with a monthly percentage of 0.25 for any consecutive month that the amount is still owing. These penalties and interests definitely can be avoided. Again, file your taxes online. I mentioned the deadlines just to avoid these penalties and interest. Let me know if you need any more details regarding late penalty fees and interest charges. If you have any specific examples you want me to go through, I can definitely do that. Just enter your comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, tell a friend to tell a friend, of course share it with others that you feel would benefit from some common sense. Take care. Thanks again.